My name is Connor. I live in Scotland, and I'm here to talk about my experience so far with the Music Creator Guild. Before I joined the program, I was trying to become a musician. I was learning things, but mostly just videos online. Don't get me wrong, I learned a lot more than most people who try getting into music. I went pretty far with it. But every song I made, I just noticed that there was something lacking. There was something missing, and I didn't know what it was. I sort of felt like I was in this vast desert, this huge expanse of different things I could do and different places to go and all this information, because that's what the internet is. It's just a big sea of information. And there's so much information on what music is and how music can be made, but it's not much use trying to learn if you don't know what you need to learn. So I was stuck. I was just trapped. And joining the program was probably, is probably going to be one of the biggest decisions in my life. Not big as in it was a huge risk. Because ultimately, like, I work a full-time job. I haven't stopped working that job. I didn't quit that job to do this program. I just joined the program. I haven't put anything on the line to join this program. But what I mean is, thanks to what I've learned in this program, I'm going to become a musician. It's not even debatable. I just need to put in the time and the work. It's going to happen. And when I do, and I look back at what it is that actually made me what I am, it's going to be deciding to join this course. Before I joined, I was trying to do so much. I was trying to pour so much time into my music that I just didn't have time for anyone else. I had friends, family that were all just left because I was pouring everything I had into music. And I remember Toby Fox. If you don't know Toby Fox, a developer of Undertale and more recently Deltarune, Toby Fox has always been one of my biggest inspirations, because Toby Fox is what happens when a game developer and a musician make a game. And that was a huge inspiration for me because I always wanted to be a game developer before I became a musician. I wasn't very good at it. I ended up putting game development aside to just focus on being a musician because music is what I've always been better at. But Toby Fox just has this way of taking feelings, taking scenes, and incorporating it into a perfect song that ties this giant web across his games of themes. And like it's just motifs. I'm sure all of you have heard of motifs. If you haven't, a motif is just like a melody that can appear in a couple places and it represents a thing, right? But Toby Fox is a master of motifs, and that's why he's such a big inspiration to me. And when Deltarune chapters 3 and 4 came out, I dropped everything to play it. Like everything, apart from my job, because I need my job. Most people do. But I dropped everything to play it straight away. And I was, what's the word? Just completely engulfed by the soundtrack. And of course, not really knowing much about music myself, I wanted to see what professionals had to say about it. And I remember I was consuming a bunch of different videos usually just going over the big fancy songs, But I saw a stream one day that was Dan from Best Music Coach analyzing the entire soundtrack. So I hopped straight into that stream. I was right in there. And during that stream, at some point, Dan mentioned that he has courses. And it was very strange to me because despite the name Best Music Coach, right, Best Music Coach is in the name. It never occurred to me that this Best Music Coach was a music coach. Very silly. But I saw that Dan had courses specifically tailored for gamers who want to make music, and I was just straight in there. Because this was around about the same time I had decided to put aside game development and focus solely on being a musician. So I went in, looked at it, got a meeting with Dan, we had a talk. Now, one of the questions that Dan asked me during the testimonial that I just did was, what doubts did I have? And I feel like it's also important to mention here that I didn't have any doubts at all. I had none, because I had been watching Dan break down music for years. I've been watching this channel for years. I think I was originally brought in to the channel. It was either by the early Deltarune chapters, or it might have been the Terraria soundtrack, one or the other. He's covered a bunch of stuff. But I've been watching this channel for years. I've been watching Dan break down music for years, so I already knew that he knew exactly what he was talking about. So I didn't have any doubts going into this. I was already convinced. The moment I saw that Dan had courses, I was like, okay, I'm going to be learning music from this man. Like, that was a decision made. And the thing that really struck me as surprising when I went into this meeting was that Dan did talk a bit about music. I talked a bit about music. But the longest time of conversation I had with him was Dan helping me work out my finances. He's a music coach, but he was helping me work out my finances. And that's when I learned that he isn't trying to teach people music, he's trying to make people into musicians. Also, if you're wondering why I keep looking over there, it's literally just my wall. I look up when I'm thinking. But he wasn't just trying to teach people music, he was trying to make people musicians, and that to him meant teaching people how to live, because if you cannot live, you cannot make music. And that's, I think, what really separates this course and Dan as a mentor from any other, is the fact that he will take the time to teach you music. He'll teach you everything you need to know, but he will spend more of his time helping you fix your mindset and helping you sort out your life so that you can actually be in a place where you can do music and you can make music and you can be a musician. He's very caring in that way. Like, during my time in this course, I've had probably a total of 3 days of time that I could actually dedicate to this course. It's kind of silly, but so many things got in my way. It was like God himself came down from the heavens to smite me. I was bedridden twice, lost my internet for about 2 months, so couldn't do anything, had power cuts, numerous, a huge storm rolled through this country. I had a ridiculous amount of hours I had to work, a ridiculous amount of overtime. It's been a wild experience. And what you're not going to believe is that in that very limited amount of time, I not only learned everything I needed to know to properly make music and learned about all the things I was doing wrong before I joined the course, I have published 2 songs. 2, in my humble opinion, pretty good songs. Pretty damn nice sounding songs. Fully produced, fully mixed, fully mastered, and posted to all kinds of different places. Namely Spotify, but also like Apple Music, YouTube Music, all those kind of places. 2 songs. That's not 1, that's 2. Count them. In probably the total of like 3 days, I had to actually work on this course. And imagine what someone could do actually having the full given time to work on this course, right? And I don't even have to imagine, because one of the biggest, most important things about this course is the community, right? Because when you sign up for this, you're not just getting courses, right? You're not just getting a bunch of information. You're not even just getting meetings with Dan, which are also invaluable. Could not put a price tag on it, what I've learned from those meetings. But you also get a community of other people who are on this journey with you. And I am watching these people make leaps and bounds. People who have never touched a musical concept before, learning more than I have and making incredible compositions. Just because this course is so well put together, down to the finest of details. I get an email every single day. Every day I get an email that gives me an inspirational quote, which, granted, I don't really care about inspirational quotes, but more importantly, it tells me what I've done, and it tells me what I need to do next. Every single day, I get an email telling me what my next step is. And that doesn't sound like a big deal. But waking up every day and seeing that email telling me this is what you need to do today has really helped me put what limited time I have into focusing on the most important things. When I joined this course, immediately Dan listened to one of my songs, just one. That's all it took, one song, and identified that while I had spent all of my time working on trying to be a better mixer, because my mixes sounded bad, he identified that it wasn't that I was bad at mixing, it's that I was doing too much composition. And he immediately told me, okay, from now on, you were going to work with 4 instruments. 5 if you really need one, but just 4. And that, him telling me that, is what allowed me to get these 2 songs out, because I was able to make a really solid composition with these limited instruments, and then the mixing just went by. I barely even felt like I mixed. It was nothing like the nightmares I had to deal with, and I would never have figured that out if not for Dan. So, to put a summary on this long, now almost 15-minute long rant, if you are unsure about joining this course, if you're thinking about it but you're not quite there, I want you to ask yourself a question. Ask yourself, who do I want to be? And really ask yourself, like, don't just say, oh, okay, I know who I want to be. Actually sit down and ask yourself, who do I want to be? And if after thinking about it and feeling it, your answer is wholeheartedly a musician, then the decision is simple. You join this course, because this course will make you a musician. Simple as. For all of the amazing support that Dan has given to me, he has given that same support to everyone else. Everybody. He works out exactly what that person needs to do to make the next steps. Every single person individually. And he works through it all at a blazing pace while still putting out more courses and making more content. He dedicates every second he has to making you a musician. And if that isn't what you're looking for, then I don't know what is. This course hasn't changed my life yet, but it will. That's not a question. It will. I just haven't had the time to make that change. When I am one day a famous musician and I look back, joining this course will be the thing that made me a famous musician. Dan has so much heart and so much care. It's unreal. He has helped me so much, completely unrelated things to music. He's helped me so much in just putting my life together so that I can then focus on music. You will not find a better mentor. And I'm saying that from the heart, right? I do not talk rubbish. I don't just make things up. If I don't believe something, then I won't say it. You will not, in the entire planet, find a better mentor, a more dedicated mentor than Dan Spencer. You want to be a musician? Join this course. Simple as.